The fallen leaves tell a story.
I decided to beat Elden Ring without using armor, using summons or spells, and incantations. You might be asking yourself right now, why would somebody lock themselves out of gameplay mechanics that are included, and even the creator uses them? It's simple really, because it feels good to do something on your own terms. Let's start at the beginning though. People in general require the notion of doing hard things, not only to feel proud about themselves, but to develop in terms of skill and character. These past few years I have adopted this mindset as well in most areas of my life. Gaming wasn't an exception. So I jumped into Elden Ring having played a few Souls-like games such as Sekiro and Dark Souls 2. I'm not an expert in Souls-likes, however. I'm not a complete beginner either. After creating my character, armor came off, and I didn't even look at the incantation menu. Most enemies offed me in 1 or 2 hits. 2 things happened. I was dying very often, and I mean very often. But when I won, it was super rewarding. The idea of failure and victory became entangled to me. The more difficult the boss was to beat, the better I felt about getting his health down to 0. Striving for victory was only part of the motivating factors that kept me going. What I strived for equally as much was becoming better. Personal development is a favorite activity of mine. I love seeing progress, be it in any area of my life. So figuring out the timings of different attacks and reacting to them appropriately become a kind of side quest for me. In some cases, dodging and attacking at certain moments became second nature. A great example of this was the Morgoth fight. I had the impression that my character moved so in sync with the Demonkin that it reminded me of dancers that have a certain flow to their movements. He provided the beat with his attacks, and I exploited the opportunities with mine. It had a certain beauty to it. To get to this level of back and forth, I had to die plenty of times. But I rarely felt frustrated. The whole experience felt like I was scaling a mountain. Despite experiencing setbacks, I still wanted to see what the view was like at the top. The fact that I chose to play without using certain elements of the game served as a device of elevation of the requirements that had to be met in order to defeat an enemy. My character was less resistant to elemental attacks and overall damage, which meant that death came for me after receiving 2 hits or less in most cases. The room of error was exceptionally small and it had no windows, so I had to be locked in at all times. I distinctly remember the adrenaline rushing through my veins after conquering Commander Niall. That fight required extreme patience and focus in order for me not to get hit. That made it one of the most memorable experiences for me in the game. And I do think that we have arrived to the key factor behind my decision to make the game harder. I was after a distinct experience, one that might seem overkill for some. For me though, it made Elden Ring a game where I had to adapt and overcome, time and time again. Let's return to the train of thought of conquest and its relationship with the human condition. It's essential for us to do hard stuff to feel good. That's what it boils down to really. That's what gives life meaning. And to the things we do, weight. If somebody did what felt easy all the time, we would rob ourselves of a sense of accomplishment. The fact that it takes time and effort to overcome an adversary makes the act of winning meaningful. The severity of punishment for a single mistake makes the process of learning exhilarating, at least for me. The overall message I want to get across is to embrace hardship and find the lessons in overcoming them. It's painful, but evolution seldom isn't. Sometimes, when there seems to be no road, just obstacles all around, the obstacles become the road. So start walking.